Hello my creative friend, welcome to new fluid art creation process and welcome to my new art studio. Oh my god, this is happening. This is for real. Okay, so as you might know, for the last 6 years we have lived in Vancouver, Canada, and this is where my studio was located. And Vancouver will always have my heart, but for us it was a time for new page, and we have relocated and now we are officially in Calgary, Alberta, and this is where I am right now. This is where my new art studio is. And you know what, for the last, I don't even know how many years, many years, I have been dreaming of having a bigger studio. And my older studio, it was amazing. It was my happy place. I really loved it, but it was very small and tight and very confined for me. And I was dreaming of having more space for bigger projects. And after all these years, this dream finally comes true. So I have the whole space to myself. It's much bigger than what actually you can see in camera. I have room for bigger table, much bigger table, so I can fit much bigger canvases. I finally have room for easel. I have room for couch where I can just chill and dream of future projects. And there are just many amazing different features that my studio has, and there's still much to do. And the best part that this whole space, basically from scratch, was built for me by my husband. I know this makes it so special, and I am so excited to be sharing this video with you today because this is the first YouTube video that I am making in this new space. Really beautiful start. How's that? And I feel a little nervous, but more so I am excited, and I have so many plans for big projects, very interesting ideas, and I am very excited to be sharing this journey with you. So thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for joining me in my new creative space. And I'm gonna set up my canvas now, set up my table, and we're gonna get started with the first project. So let's go. Check out all this huge bucket of blue and turquoise paint that I got here today. So this is gonna be the color palette I'm gonna be using. And not so long ago, I did this painting with sort of stormy ocean with touches of silver on a round canvas, and I loved it so much. So today, now that I have much bigger table and can work on much bigger canvas in my new studio, I am excited to recreate this piece in larger scale. And I don't want to use it, I don't want to recreate it one-to-one. You know, I always like to make a little changes, and I have a few minor adjustments in my color palette, but the overall vibe and, you know, feel is definitely inspired by that piece. Boundless spirit is a secret message for this piece, and it's always kind of the vibe and the idea for ocean-inspired paintings. So I'm gonna create a lot of puddles of paint, and I want to go for sort of transition from all the way from phthalo blue and darker shade of phthalo blue to lighter pops of turquoise, and even have a little silver prepared. So it's gonna be a very interesting color palette, and I'm gonna add all of my colors just in smaller puddles, and no empty negative space at this time. It's all gonna be filled in areas. So the first color here that I have is phthalo blue mixed with phthalo green and some white. So you can actually buy like already mixed turquoise colors, but I was in the mood for mixing everything myself, sort of from scratch, the entire palette. So a lot of the colors, you will notice that a lot of the colors that I'm going to be adding today are combinations of 2 or even more colors. So this is one of the lighter ones, and you can see that I have huge buckets of paint ready. I mixed a bunch because I kind of have a few ocean paintings in mind, but I will definitely not need all of it. And if you ever wonder how much paint you need to cover certain sides of the canvas, check out my acrylic pouring calculator. And this is the tool that I have created for you. You can just enter the size of your canvas and the depth, and it will give you approximately how much paint you need in fluid ounces or milliliters, whatever is more convenient for you. So it will tell you how much paint approximately you need to cover your size of the canvas. Check it out. The link will be in the description. Okay, so I think it's enough with this color. Now next color. This one is pretty close, but not the same. So this is also phthalo blue and phthalo green and white, but at this time it's more blue and less green. So you can see that this color, it's kind of close, but it has a lot more blue undertone and it's a little darker color. So I really want to create a palette that's in colors in close to each other but different values. Oh, got something along here. Okay. Oh, I don't remember if I mentioned, but this canvas is 24 by 48 inches today. Next color here is just phthalo blue. So this one has no phthalo green, no white, just straight up phthalo blue. The next huge bucket of paint, so this is phthalo blue mixed with black. So it's a shade of phthalo blue, very dark color. This is going to be the darkest color in this palette. I don't want to use a whole lot of it, but I think it's nice to have it to create some more shades inside of this piece. And I'm going to add it mostly right next to the phthalo blue color. Next few colors here I have, they are basically phthalo blue, phthalo green mixed with gray. I didn't use gray color, I used black and white, but you know, that kind of makes a gray together. So this one is lighter, so it has more white and less black, and this one has more black and less white. And because the rest of my colors, they're quite saturated, I think adding a few or more muted colors can really help balance out this color palette, so it's not, you know, too screaming. Especially with such a large canvas, having more neutral colors can help. It's not technically neutral, but it's towards that side. Okay, I'm certainly getting there, and I don't need to fill in completely because before I'm gonna do the blowout, I want to tilt this canvas and stretch and level out those colors a little bit. So I don't want to add too much paint, right? So this is the one that is phthalo blue, phthalo green a little bit, black and white, but more black. It's actually a very pretty color. It's more calm, more subtle. There's definitely something about it. This next color here is phthalo blue, phthalo green with a lot of white. So it probably looks almost like white on camera, but it has a little bit of bluish tint to it. Now, a few accent colors, accent because they're going to be metallic colors. So this one is silver, and I kind of have a plan or idea of what I want to do with silver once the painting is dry. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to do the blowout first and see how it dries. But I definitely want to have some of those pretty silver accents in this painting. That was silver. And this one here is iridescent blue-green, but I added a little bit of phthalo blue in it just to tint it because it was a little too turquoise. It had too much sort of green undertone in it, and I felt like it's not gonna work for this color palette. Because I want all these colors to be very close to each other. At least that's the plan. You know, I do feel like I want to break up these dark spots a little bit with phthalo blue inside of them. So that when I do the blowout, they really blend in. I think a little bit of highlight with white will be nice as well. For some foamy look. And I think I want to drizzle just a little bit of white just on top to help create more highlights throughout all these blues because they're all pretty dark colors. Okay. All right. It's looking good. I see some air bubbles. Now I'm almost there, but not quite. I want to tilt the canvas and really help those colors level out. It will be much nicer for the blowout when the colors are more level and there are not so many like dry spots inside. I want to bring the weight of my paint down to that corner because I will be doing a lot of the blowing from that side. So I need to make sure I have enough paint to manipulate with. Okay, I'm fully ready to do the blowout now, and we'll get to it in a second, but I want to tell you something that one of the most common questions that I get is about consistency of the paint and which consistency is right for which technique and how to test the consistency and what's the consistency for blowing technique, etc., etc. So any question related to consistency, and for you, I have created something special. So first of all, I have created a cheat sheet that you can download, and this acrylic pouring consistency cheat sheet will help you identify which consistency, thin, medium, or thick, is right for which technique. So if you ever wonder, okay, which consistency should I use for your acrylic pouring technique, this cheat sheet will help you navigate in that. But there is more to it. Once you know that you need, let's say, thin consistency, like for Dutch pour, you need thin consistency. How do you know which one is thin? How can you tell which one is thin? So along with the cheat sheet, you will receive a consistency masterclass. And in that masterclass, I will show you exactly how to test the consistency. I'll explain different properties of consistencies, thin, medium versus thick, etc. So this is an amazing lesson on consistency, and you can download the cheat sheet and access my consistency masterclass on my website. Here is the link. It will also be in the description below this video. So if consistency is something that you're still struggling with, or it's a bit of a challenge, definitely check it out. I have created it just for you. Well, I do know that my consistency is right, so with that said, let's get to the blowout. Okay, this is some really beautiful start, and I kind of have an idea of a layout for my blowout as always, and I think it's very important when you're doing this technique is to plan it in advance, which one is first, which one is last. So make sure to plan your composition and layout in advance. I am very happy. So those of you who have been watching my channel for a while, do you remember what I usually do at this stage of the painting creation, especially working on a large canvas? Yeah, that's right. I would grab my stepladder and I would climb my stepladder to look from above to really assess the composition from a little bit of the distance. But I don't need stepladder anymore. Check this out. How's that? I got this table I was telling you about, I was dreaming about, so it can elevate. And now I can, assess my composition and really look from the distance and look from above without climbing the ladder. It's so much more convenient. But honestly, I am super duper happy with my outcome. Like, I'm not done yet. I'm gonna do finger swipes. Gorgeous cells and lacing all around. Ta-da! While my table is lifting up, I'm gonna tell you that all of my colors I mixed with my new recipe, and if you would like to learn more about it, if you haven't heard about it, check out my Fluid Art Mastery online course. This is the course where I teach my recipe, but really it's not just about recipe, it's about how to layer colors to get beautiful cells easily, because I don't use Floetrol, I don't use silicone, I don't use cell activator, I don't use pillow paint, I don't use any of that. So if you would like to learn more about my compositional approach, my layering method, my supplies, my mixing, all of that, everything related to the mastery of the fluid art process, I invite you to check out my online course. The link will also be in the description. But let's continue. So without this dark color, it definitely wouldn't be it. So right now, I'm gonna do finger swipe to, I want to really connect the composition and enhance some of the movement that I have created with the direction of the blowout. So, of course I got paint on myself, that's the usual. New studio, but things stay the same in this regard. So I think I'm gonna dip my finger just a little bit in silver. And I'll start with my finger swipes. One of the common questions that I get about this particular part of my painting process, the finger swipes, is how come my canvas doesn't show through when I do this? And there are two parts to it. So first of all, you need to have a decent amount of paint on the canvas, because if you have super thin layer of paint, you will get canvas shining through, because the paint just wouldn't have, there's not enough volume of paint to level. But the second part of it is the consistency. You need to work with the right consistency for this type of technique. And this is why I created this masterclass, to help you master the consistency. Masterclass to help you master. Yeah, that's right. You get the point, because once you have the right consistency, these things work much simpler and more effective. I love it. Okay, I think it's time for me to stop. I have a very interesting idea of what I want to do next, especially with the silver in this painting, but I want to see how it dries first, so I will see you in a second, then let's jump to the next step. And after I'm all done adding my silver layers, I want to do a touch-up with a brush. And I want to extend some of the lines that I have created with finger swipes so that my composition flows better throughout the entire canvas from element to element, because some of my finger swipes, because I was doing them a few times, they did blend in a little too much, so I want to make them sharper. And I also want to shape up my silver blooms and extend some of those silver lines so that they are more defined, so that there is a bit more defined border between my silver bloom and the rest of the painting. I'm using silver fluid acrylics for that. This same exact one that I used for the blowout in the first part of this creation process, so it's the same fluid mixed silver. Next, I decided to shape up these magical silver blooms, the silver glow, with a bit of a darker color. So I'm using Prussian blue, again, the same exact one that I used for pouring. And you can see that adding those darker outlines really adds contrast and helps me add definition to the main elements of composition. And I think having some highlights but also adding some darker parts really gives this painting a dimension, and it just looks a lot more interesting. Finally, before varnish, I want to quickly touch up the sides. They did not turn out so nice at this time after the pouring, so I used the same colors and just extend sort of the colors and the design towards the sides. And I think it looks much more neat and professional this way. And it doesn't need to be perfect, but personally I like it when the sides match and sort of continue the painting. Okay, the painting and all the touch-ups and additions are fully cured and done, and before showing the outcome I want to show you some details. I covered the entire piece with glossy varnish to increase a little bit of that shine, and I did something unusual with my signature. I added it on diagonal because I believe that this piece looks very nice both in portrait and landscape orientation. And I want my signature to work either way. By the way, let me know which one is your favorite, landscape or portrait orientation. And I'm going to tell you that this doesn't happen very often. Usually I'm very particular about my layout and the composition, but this painting is special. Well, it had to be, right? Because it's the first piece in my new studio. Oh, just look at this blue in turquoise transitions of colors and very elegant silver elements. I have just one word for this piece. It's magical. It has this very serene vibe, almost fairy tale. What do you think? Do you get the same kind of feeling from this piece? And how do you like this final result after all the embellishments and enhancements? I would love to hear from you. I will chat with you in the comments below. Make sure to check out some of the links that I will include for you in the description below this video. There are some amazing resources for you. And thank you so much for joining me in this first painting in my new studio. Stay tuned for more big and exciting projects coming up very soon. Take care, create with passion, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.